People often ask me why I keep going back to Japan. It's a simple question, but every time I try to answer it, I realize that no single reason is ever enough. Because Japan isn't just a country you visit, it's a place you slowly unravel. The first time you arrive, you're overwhelmed by the lights, the sounds, the endless movement of millions of people somehow flowing together without chaos. Everything feels unfamiliar, almost impossible to understand. And yet, somehow it all makes sense. You tell yourself it's the food, or the temples, the mountains, the cherry blossoms, the neon streets of Tokyo. But after a while, you realize those things are only the surface. What makes Japan unforgettable is everything happening underneath. It's a country built on layers, thousands of years of tradition living comfortably beside technology that feels decades ahead of the rest of the world. A century-old shrine standing quietly between glass skyscrapers. A wooden house surviving in the shadow of a skyline that never seems to stop growing. Somehow, none of it feels out of place. It feels balanced. Japan never asks you to choose between yesterday and tomorrow. It embraces both. And maybe that's one of the reasons it feels so unique. Every corner tells a story, every neighborhood has its own rhythm. Walk just a few minutes away from a crowded station and the city changes completely. The noise fades, the streets become quieter. An old kisaten serves coffee exactly as it has for decades. A tiny family restaurant welcomes regular customers with familiar smiles. Life slows down, not because people have less to do, but because they seem to understand that even ordinary moments deserve attention. There's a kind of beauty in that, a beauty that's difficult to explain until you've experienced it yourself. Japan has taught me to notice things I used to walk right past. The sound of rain on narrow streets, the light moving through a bamboo forest, the steam rising from a cup of coffee in a quiet kisaten, the way a meal is presented, not because it has to impress anyone, but because someone believed it deserved care. Here, even the ordinary feels intentional. Even the smallest gesture seems to carry meaning. There's a quiet understanding that everyday life is worth treating with respect. Preparing tea becomes a ritual, wrapping a gift becomes an art, cooking lunch becomes an act of craftsmanship. Sweeping the entrance of a shop becomes a moment of pride. Nothing's too small to deserve care. In so much of the world, we encourage to move faster, to produce more, to consume more, move on to the next thing before we've even appreciated the last. Japan often feels like it's asking the opposite. Slow down, pay attention, do this one thing well. Be fully present while you're doing it. And maybe that's why everything feels different. Not because every moment is extraordinary, but because ordinary moments are treated as though they matter. There's another idea that quietly reveals itself the longer you stay. The acceptance that beauty doesn't have to be flawless. That a weathered wooden doorway can be more beautiful than polished marble. That the changing seasons are beautiful precisely because they don't last. The Japanese call this wabi-sabi, finding beauty in the imperfect, in the unfinished, in the temporary. It's a way of seeing the world that feels strangely comforting. Because life isn't perfect, people aren't perfect, neither are the places we love. And instead of trying to erase those imperfections, Japan often seems to celebrate them. There's something incredibly peaceful about that. It reminds me that not everything needs fixing. Sometimes things simply need appreciating. Japan has taught me to notice things I used to ignore. The way autumn slowly paints an entire mountain. The first blossoms announcing the winter is finally over. None of these moments ask for your attention. They simply exist, patiently waiting for someone willing to slow down, and maybe that's why I always bring my camera here. Not because Japan needs to be more beautiful, it already is. the camera simply gives me permission to stop, to observe, to appreciate, to remember. One of the things that continues to amaze me is the respect. Respect for strangers, respect for nature, respect for shared spaces. You see it everywhere. Coming from the West, it's impossible not to notice the contrast. Not because one way is perfect and the other is wrong, but because Japan quietly asks different questions. What if convenience didn't have to come at the expense of beauty? What if efficiency could still feel human? What if tradition wasn't something preserved behind museum glass, but something that continued living every day? People often describe Japan as a destination. For me, it's something different. It's a reminder that the world is still full of places capable of changing us, places where beauty isn't loud, where history isn't frozen in time, where nature and cities somehow learn to coexist. Every visit leaves me with more questions than answers. And maybe that's exactly why I keep returning. Because Japan doesn't ask to be understood all at once. It invites you back, again and again. This film is a collection of moments I've been lucky enough to witness over the years, fragments of a place that continues to inspire me every time I arrive. A place that reminds me why I fell in love with photography, and why, no matter how many times I leave, part of me never really does.